Better sit back down here. I'm down here on this old duck lake again this year. For 54 years I've been coming down here. These old same spots year after year. Sort of like I've been drawn here by force that I can't resist. To sit here in these old brush blinds and over on the cattails on the other side, or in boats, and even in the early years out there on stumps in the middle of the lake. On stumps that trees that my granddaddy cut in the 1930s when the TVA took his land here and flooded it. Now, it's easy to say it's just wild ducks, but it's much more than that. It doesn't come close to explaining it. I'm not sure I can. Many years ago, this old duck hunting obsession sort of overtook me and completely. How you can explain to somebody who knows nothing of this particular phenomenon called duck hunting, this way of life, and I guess that's the way to say it. It's a way of life. It's part of my life. And I can't stop, just as I can't stop breathing or I can't stop loving my wife. Because if you stop doing these things that you love, you might as well just pick up your decoys and call in the hunt forever. Now I've sat out here on those old bluebird days and on old cold, rainy days. I don't know how to verbalize it. I don't know the words for these feelings that run through me. And I guess it's just one of them things that you got to have in your makeup to as a person to understand what I feel. I guess everybody's got things like in their life like that, and at least I hope they do. Now there's so daggum many memories from so many years that they come to me triggered by the simplest things, like the smell of muddy boots and wet dogs and gun oil and rotten cattail. And the whistle of the duck wings overhead. You never forget them cold winds stinging your face and ears, and those old colder rains that old sideways blowing snow that makes this lake so pretty. But you know, I'm a creature of habit. And my choice of equipment anyway. I stick to what works. Like this old Revelation shotgun right here. It's only one of two guns that I mostly ever use. And I bought it in 1969 over Miss Elizabeth Jones' hardware store in Stevenson. She trusted me as a kid, and for an $86 gun, I paid her $10 down and $10 a month till I paid it off. And I earned my money carrying groceries on Saturdays down at Edwin Allison's grocery store on Main Street there in Stevenson. Newton Guest was a young salesman up at Mr. Jones's, and I made him throw in a $2.50 box of shotgun shells with it. I guess still that's the best trade I ever got out of Big Newton. This old gun here has killed a lot of ducks and won quite a few turkey and hams at shooting matches. And honestly, I wouldn't choose one of these expensive guns today over it, and well, as you say, I'm still shooting it. What, 50-something years later. And I done pretty good with it. I remember one year I killed, I think I averaged a shell and a half per duck that I killed. And those were good duck years too. Now these were times when shells weren't very plentiful, and I was young and just married and tight on cash, and you didn't go around wasting any shells shooting holes in clouds, I can tell you that for sure. Now I remember a lot of these old cold wet days when it didn't have good rain gear, and we passed up our old sheep waders every night for the next day's hunt. And every morning we'd get up in the full daylight and we'd walk a lot of times in paddle boats. We'd walk them old beaver dams and foot logs and paddle old wooden boats, it seems like, for miles just to shoot a mallard. But boy, we had ducks back in them days too. Years ago now, like we'll never see again, I think. It was tougher hunting back in them days. Without all these modern conveniences we got nowadays. But hell, they never seemed to faze me too much. I didn't think things got too tough to go duck hunting. Now, I've walked untold number of miles and paddled just as many in my little duck boat. And I've been cold, but not hardly as cold as one day. It's just right up there. I capsized my little duck hunting boat out there in the ice, and it was 16 degrees that morning. And I had to roll over and pick everything out and wade back to the bank, walk back to home, and dry out. Just in time to get to go that afternoon. Oh heck, I know another cold day too. Down on the other side, down here in the corner, close to the canal. I remember back in the 80s. I had a kidney stone attack early one morning. There was 8 inches of snow on the ground. And it was 5 degrees. And boy, that's one morning I almost didn't make it back. Yeah, and another tough day was just right over across the lake too. When I got hit by a dead goose. About 12 pounds going about 40 miles an hour. After I shot him I was going to go for a double. Lessons learned. Don't ever take your eyes off of a falling duck or a goose. But I've had good memories too, mostly with the people I've been with. I remember one time a good hunt I had up in a beaver pond up in what we called a buck pond above Jack Hampton's place. It just, all that bottom was just getting flooded by beavers. Nobody knew about it, and I was hunting in there for a year or two before anybody ever knew it. Man, I had some hunts. But I remember one time, it was a sunny day and it was about 10 or 11 o'clock, and I was sitting, done ready to go just about, and I was sitting on a stump or an old tree. I think it's fallen down tree, and a group of mallards come in on me. And I seen a big old green head in that sunlight, and he had a band on both legs. You're talking about pressure. And that was a pressure shot there. But I got him. But you know, the best days was the young ones back in the 1960s and 70s, early 70s. Now hunting all day, you never heard a shot and you never seen nobody. Now I like hunting. And hunting alone, but I guess I got more pleasure out of taking other people on hunts. And I took a lot of them in my life. I took seasoned hunters and friends, but I got the most pleasure out of taking kids. They had no other path to these duck hunting experiences or adventures. Because that's exactly what they were. They was adventures. And I want to tell you, if any of us listen to this film, all my hunting companions over all these many years, you've made my hunts and you made my life better. You're all part of my life that can't be changed. And that's the way I intended it to be. Now, we might not always had a big old productive hunt, but Miss Becky always seen to it that we had a big old country breakfast. And last day of the season, remember, we always had Chinese takeout. And I tried to make you proud. If you killed a bunch of old gadwalls, or if you killed a lone sprig pintail, or a duck with a jack miner band on it. Now, these old hunts they weren't always productive. For limits of ducks, it was killed. But that's not how you judge a hunt. It's the whole experience of a hunt that I think most people will always remember for the rest of their lives. Now, these memories of cold feet, hot biscuits, and retriever dogs fighting under the kitchen table when somebody dropped a biscuit. So if you're one of these people, many people who shared my hunting life these last 54 plus years, I want to thank you. And when you think back on these old cold wet days, I hope it brings a smile to your face. And I hope your memories are kind to me. Well, I'm Ted McCoy, and I intend to have more adventures and memories of hunting wild ducks. Why, heck, I already am right now. Y'all keep on hunting.